All right, let's talk about what the science experiment is that we're doing today. So today our goal is to figure out the difference between physical and chemical changes. I want you guys to be able to observe both of those types of changes. So we've got two different types of candy that we're going to use today. You're going to be observing those two pieces of candy, totally different types, and you have to figure out what kind of change is occurring. Is what you're seeing and observing a physical change, or is it a chemical change? I will chat about it at the end of class and see if you came up with the right ideas. So the first candy, you probably have never heard of this, but there's one candy called a Fizzy Boom. You're gonna take a look at this candy. It's actually a candy from Ukraine, and you're going to be observing it, like I said, and seeing if you can figure out what kind of change it is. The other type of candy you're probably more familiar with, this is Pop Rocks. You guys have all probably heard of Pop Rocks. You're gonna be looking at this one as well. So that's the goal. We're trying to figure out, as we observe these candies, what type of change is going on. So let me give you guys some background knowledge first on these two different types of candy that you're gonna be using. So the first one is called Fizzy Boom. And here are its like basic ingredients, what's inside of it. So you've got citric acid, and over here you're going to see the chemical formulas for each of these ingredients. You've got lactic acid, sodium bicarbonate, that's basically baking powder, or I'm sorry, not baking powder, baking soda, and then glucose. And then we are going to be adding water to the candy during our experiment. So then you'll see a little plus sign down here. And we've got H2O, that's what we're combining with the candy. But all of this stuff right here, these are the chemical formulas for the basic ingredients in a Fizzy Boom candy. Now the second candy is the Pop Rocks. And so the basic ingredients in the Pop Rocks, it's pretty simple. You just have two things, glucose right here, and then carbon dioxide is the other one. That's it. And then obviously, again, we're going to be adding in water during this experiment. So we've got plus H2O, but these are their chemical formulas, and that is Pop Rocks. So you kind of have to think to yourself, okay, now knowing what's in these candies, if we add water to them, which one do you think is going to have a physical change, and which one do you think is going to have a chemical change? So that's actually your first step. When this video is over, we're going to go through and set up your notebook together. We're just going to create a simple chart. And in the very first part of the chart, you have to make a prediction. And so you're going to be making a prediction for the Fizzy Boom, and you're going to make a prediction for the Pop Rocks. So part one is when we add water to each of these candies, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think you'll see? What do you think is going to be going on with the candy? And then number two, your second part of the prediction is, do you think what you're seeing will be a physical change or a chemical change? And I'm excited to see what you guys think and see if you guess correctly. So we'll do that in just a second. Once we make our observations once we make our predictions and get our notebook set up, you're going to grab your supplies. So you're going to see all around at the different lab stations some bags that are laid out. Each person's going to grab a bag at their lab station. And before we get the supplies out of there, I need you to put your name on your bag. There's like a little, like a neon label thing on the outside of the bag. Please write your first and last name on that. This bag has stuff we're using next week as well. And you're gonna put this in the cupboard that has the little circle with your lab station number on it. It should be right above your sink. They'll do this at the end after our experiment, or if you're at station 4, you don't have any cupboards above your sink because we have the big window. So yours is below your sink at lab station 4. But that's where we're going to keep these because there's some extra stuff for next week. But here's what you need today. So when you get your bag, you're going to be pulling out the pipette. You need the white paper plate. You need the safety goggles. Here's mine. Got to get them out of the package. During the experiment, you are expected and required to wear the safety goggles for the science experiment. And then the other things you'll need are your Fizzy Boom candy and your packet of Pop Rocks. Now, since I have got my safety goggles on, let's talk about our safety rules real quick. Number one, the safety goggles have to be on during the whole science experiment. And number two, because of our safety regulations this year, like I said with the marshmallows, you cannot eat anything during class. You can't eat the Pop Rocks. You can't eat the Fizzy Boom. Now, if you don't use all of the Pop Rocks and you have some left in the bag, you're more than welcome to take that with you and eat it after school, but you're not allowed to eat anything in class. So you can end up using the whole bag for your science experiment, or you can keep some in here and save it for later when you're out of school. Then you can eat those. Okay, so those are the items you're going to be grabbing out of the bag. Those are our two safety rules. And then let's chat about what you're doing first. So once you get your supplies, you are going to take your Fizzy Boom and your Pop Rocks, and we just need to make some beforehand observations. We want to know, what do these candies look like, and what do we notice about them before we add the water. So you're going to put them on your plate, and for the Fizzy Boom, when I open this up, you are going to have to actually break it and crack it because we want the powder that's inside. So this is what the candy looks like. You're going to stick it on your plate, and then you should have a ruler on your desk. I placed one on all the desks. Please take a wipe, disinfect it first, but you're going to basically put it down like this super hard on your candy, and you're going to press hard. Let me do this down here until you get it to crack. Hold on. I can't get it to crack. Let's see if I can get this. Okay, well, I'll work on that. Ooh, I almost got it. You're gonna have to push pretty hard to get it to crack, but the ruler will help. So you're gonna use that to crack the Fizzy Boom. I don't know why I keep saying Fizzy Pop. It's a Fizzy Boom. And then for the Pop Rocks, you're gonna open it up, and you are going to just pour, once the other candy's cracked, you're gonna pour some of the Pop Rocks out on your plate. You should use probably at least a half of the bag. If not, you can use the whole thing. And you're just gonna make some observations. So in your science notebook, you're gonna draw a picture, and you're gonna write some observations. What do you see? What color? What shape? What texture? Size? Anything about its appearance? Smell? What do you notice about it? And I want you to be as detailed as possible. If you have colored pencils, get those out. And in your chart, you can color your diagram. Okay, so that's the before part that you're going to be doing. And then when you have your initial observations done, the next step is to add the water. So you are going to take your pipette. You're going to take turns going to your sink. Turn on the water. You'll squeeze this bottom part of the pipette, put this underneath the faucet, get some water in here. You probably only need like about a half of this full, not super full. And then pick which candy you want to do first. So let's just say you're starting with the Fizzy Boom. Get your safety goggles on. You're going to pour some water over the Fizzy Boom specifically. You want to make sure that the white powder that's inside of it, that you get that wet. Watch what happens. Pay very close attention. Listen to it and observe what happens. And then in your science notebook, you'll record in the after part of your data chart what you see after you added the water. You could also draw a picture of it, record your observations, and then take your pipette, add water to the Pop Rocks. Again, watch carefully, observe. What do you see happening? Draw a picture, record your observations in your data chart in the after box. Okay, so that is adding the water. And then when that's done, the last step is to create an explanation. So I want to know, why do you think this happened? Whatever happened with the Fizzy Boom and with the Pop Rocks, I want to know why you think that occurred. So you're going to write an explanation of what you think is going on. Tell me whether you think it's a physical or a chemical change, and then prove it to me. Where's your evidence or your reasoning? Why do you think it's a physical change, or why do you think it's a chemical change? And then we'll chat about it when everyone's done and see if you guys actually predicted and guessed correctly which one's a physical change and which one is a chemical change. So we're going to set up your science notebooks first. Then you'll gather your supplies. That's step 2. Step 3 then will be to go through and start filling out your science notebook, get those predictions if you haven't done that. Do the before, create your observations, crack open that Fizzy Boom, and then add your water and see what happens. Record your after observations and then create your explanation in your data chart.